I wouldn't say we made it, but we made it through. We didn't make it up, we just made a way. We gon' take it up, we won't fade away. I got too many dreams, gotta stay awake. Ask me if I changed, yo, it's night and day. I told the backstabbers, put the knife away. I'm trying to get my
All right,
family
hey,
to
we're
a
back.
nicer
We're at
place.
Harvest today with a special guest, the owner of Harvest. Mike himself has allowed us to come into his restaurant, pick his brain, get to talk to him. We're down on the oceanfront in Virginia Beach, and I am super pumped to be here today. Thanks, dude.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Thanks
man.
for coming in.
Absolutely. So, you and Mark have been friends for a while. Mark hit me up. He was like, I got a guy that you got to meet. And now I'm sitting here with the guy. And now we get to tell everybody about Harvest, which I'm excited about because it's a cool concept. But before we dive into Harvest, let's start the story of what got you here. Okay, so you 19, 18 years old, you started your own remodeling company.
Yep.
And everything that we see in front of us was built by you yourself, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Cool. So take me through that time of your life right there.
Cool. Yeah. So, 19, friend of mine and we just started, we were doing some side jobs and decided, hey, let's make this a business. So we did kitchens and baths. We remodeled kitchens and baths. Had a good run of that. Then my friend got a job he really couldn't turn down.
Right.
So kind of came to the oceanfront, came back to the oceanfront. Been working at the oceanfront since I was 15. So
okay, so the remodeling business kind of went away, and then you jumped into ice cream, right?
Yeah, so there was a big gap between there. I worked at the oceanfront. I worked souvenir shops for 10 years. And my wife, at the time, she wasn't my wife, but my wife and I had met through the souvenir shops.
Okay.
And then we kind of worked and saved and finally decided to open up something of our own.
Cool.
So
ice cream shops, and for the people that are listening, your wife owns Karma
Skate Shop.
skate shop down here. So you guys have kind of like entrenched yourselves down on the oceanfront, which is cool. So you're here to stay now. You're not going anywhere, right?
Trying to, yeah.
So one day you and your wife were talking. You're working ice cream shops. She's hammering out skateboards, and you guys are like, man, we're tired of getting the run-of-the-mill greasy food. Want something different. Why don't we open up our own spot? Is that what happened?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, she came to me with an idea, and at first I was a little hesitant, but she really kind of showed me specifically what she wanted to do, and I said, man, this is a great idea. So we really decided that it was something that we should pursue, and we did.
Have you both always had that kind of like entrepreneurial, like let's take a chance, like mentality? Like, because a lot of people don't have that, and I think a lot of people think that this is easy, right?
Yeah.
Like you've been grinding for a long time to get to this spot, to be able to say, hey, I opened a restaurant at the Virginia Beach oceanfront. Like that's a big deal,
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to stupidity and not
but
knowing.
You gotta be. Sometimes you have to be tactfully stupid in order to be successful, right?
Yeah, I mean, really, it comes down to a little bit of ignorance,
Yeah.
not knowing how much work is involved. Because if you really knew what was in front of you, you may not take that journey. So I appreciate the fact that I didn't know what I was getting into.
Ignorance is bliss, right?
Exactly. So that was super helpful to not know.
Yeah.
And kind of go through it and forge my way. And, it was.
I mean, it panned out.
Right. And,
so-
learning, that I've always learned hands-on.
But you know what, though? And I'm glad you said that, because if you're not willing to take risks, you're not going to get to that ultimate goal, right? Like,
Right.
There was probably a point in your life where you're like, dude, I'm never going to open a restaurant. Because it's a scary industry.
It's very scary.
But here you are.
Yeah.
You have one. So the concept about Harvest, explain to everybody that's going to hopefully watch the show what Harvest is all about. Farm to table, local. You try to keep everything as local as possible.
Right, yeah. So we're a farm to table, fast casual. So we try not to take up too much of the time. You can come in, you order at the counter, but then we bring the food out to you. All the produce is going to be locally sourced. Obviously, there's some supplementing that we have to do,
Right.
Specifically because we don't grow avocados around the area and stuff like that. But any of the greens, the tomatoes, cucumbers, anything in season that's grown locally, we source locally.
Nice.
And generally, we keep it organically minded.
Okay.
And so we try to be a sustainably minded business as well. So even the cups that we use, they're biodegradable, they're compostable. So if anything does blow away or doesn't make it into the the receptacles, then it's not going to be around for forever.
Years and years
Yeah.
to come. So we're in a weird time. 2020 has been a up and down roller coaster ride for everybody, right? You guys opened right before kind of COVID hit, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Did you kind of have that like, oh crap, did we do this at the wrong time, or are we just gonna have to hammer through it? Like, did you have that?
Yeah, so it it was just as it was a shock to everybody.
Yeah.
It was a big shock to us. So we went through half of a season of the busy time when we first opened, and then the wintertime came. Wintertime for all businesses are slow.
Right. So especially if you're watching this and you're not from the area, essentially we live in a tourist town, right?
Correct.
The oceanfront is booming in the summertime, springtime. Once winter hits, it's pretty much just locals that come down here and enjoy it. So
Correct.
you have to have things probably set in place to make sure you sustain through the wintertime, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so we wanted to be known as a year-round business.
Right.
So we stayed open all winter, knowing that it was going to be rough.
Right.
But a lot of things come back in the springtime. There's a big boost in the spring, and we were excited for that boost. And we had one solid weekend, and we were like, okay, we're going to start to.
Here we did it.
Yeah.
And then boom.
The next week, everything was closed.
Yeah.
It was tough. I mean, it was a struggle. We put almost everything that we had into the restaurant through the wintertime because we knew we'd gain it back.
Well, so not only that too, right? You have employees, right? And one of the things you told me earlier was when you sold the ice cream shop, you didn't displace any of those employees. You brought them all over here. So you wanted to financially make sure they were good to go too.
Correct.
So now you don't only have the pressure of like, I got to make sure I get my next paycheck, but I have other people that I have to look out for too. Right. Did that add like an extra amount of stress to you?
That was huge, yeah. I mean, it got so tough for us that we were spending, my wife and I were spending the weekdays in the restaurant with our daughter in a pack and play next to the bathrooms because we could shut the doors and make it dark.
Yeah.
Just so that we could keep the restaurant going, so that we could have the employees work on the weekends.
See, and that's the grind that people don't realize.
Right.
You have two options when you're faced with adversity. You throw in the towel or you make it work. And a lot of people don't see that. Like,
Yeah.
business is not easy.
Speaking of business, you haven't even asked about the food yet.
You're right. I have not. Hey, Mark.
What's up, boys?
Mike,
Nice.
what is this?
So that's an herb chicken ciabatta. It's going to be herb chicken that we've roasted. We've got some sun-dried tomatoes, provolone, and it's got a house-made chipotle, lime, cilantro aioli on a ciabatta bread.
Dude, it smells so good. I'll take a bite of it.
Go for
Is
it.
that cool?
Go for it,
All
definitely.
right, taking a bite. Food Network, if you're watching, check it out. Okay. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this. This is really. Hey, Mark. Dude, you gotta try this sandwich, Mark. Where you at? Oh, hey, here you go, bud. Try that. All right, man. This sandwich is phenomenal. Like, I start coming down here all the time now. Where did you get ideas for the cuisine?
So my cousin.
I'm gonna keep eating this.
Yeah,
while you're
go for
talking.
it. Go for it. Definitely.
All right.
So my cousin is a chef, and we have him as a consultant chef for the restaurant.
Okay.
Him and my wife come up with most of the menu options. They kind of collaborated together on this idea here. So, and this is one of our top selling sandwiches. This one in our Cuban.
Yeah, I can see why. Like, listen to me. don't go to any other restaurant down here on the oceanfront until you come check out this one first. You're doing yourself a disservice. I'm not a food critic, but I do like to eat, and I'm happy right now. Like, legit endorphins are going crazy in the brain. All right, so to recap a little bit, you had your daughter sleeping at the restaurant so you guys could keep open.
Yeah.
Like, what was that like? Like, you guys are like trying to keep the restaurant open. Your daughter's here. Was there any moment when you're like, did we make the right decision?
So, yeah, it's very scary. Honestly, it was probably one of the most depressing times.
Yeah.
Just in general in my life, because I wasn't quite sure where to go, what to do, and the worst part is that nobody else had gone through this to give advice, you know?
Right. Like, you can't
lean on somebody.
Call a mentor and be like, hey,
Right.
man, when swine flu hit, how did you keep your restaurant that you just opened
Exactly.
up going? And you just sold a successful business to start something new, and so you probably had a bunch of different emotions going through your head.
Yeah, it's you know, it was tough, but luckily we were able to push through.
Yeah.
I knew that I didn't know if we could afford to stay open, but I knew we couldn't afford to close. So I didn't know how long it was going to go for, and what the next steps were. Nobody did.
Have you guys bounced back quite a bit now that everything's kind of not really, it's not ended by any means, but it's kind of shifted more to where business can stay open? So before you answer that, one of the biggest things that pissed me off about this whole COVID thing, nobody could control it.
Right.
But being local, like, I'm huge on local businesses. I want to see local businesses thrive. It hurt everybody that was a local business owner, and you got to see all these huge other conglomerates continue to thrive, and that hurts the economy more than people really think. So
Yeah.
have you guys kind of shifted back to like being able to operate?
Yeah, so small business is the backbone of
Yeah.
any community,
Exactly.
and the country. So you're right. I mean, it's difficult to see, you know, your neighbor, you know, not just me, but, you know, people you know who have small businesses, you know, really struggling.
Yeah.
And luckily, I know with my business, I had felt the support of the community. That was huge. I mean, that was probably one of the biggest things that kept us going was
Yeah.
the support of the community.
Nice.
But yeah, we finally got over that hump once we were able to start opening up a little bit. It was, you could feel the community coming out even
Right.
more stronger. Obviously, there was reservation there, and people wanted to kind of keep their distance and stay away from others. So we had a lot of takeout. Takeout was
When you have a patio too, so you were you able to operate off the patio too
right.
for a
So
while?
luckily, the city allowed us to do the patio. We weren't able to do the patio before COVID. They put this in saying, "Hey, if you have space that allows for ADA
So are
requirements."
you going to be able to keep that now, or do you think that eventually they might kind of reel that back in?
So I think what it is they have 30 days after the executive order of the governor's executive order like 67 or something expires. It's 30 days after that that we'll have to take it up. But the city has.
So before we get into that,
Yeah.
the patio may go away, but in just a second, we're going to reveal something that's even better than the patio.
Right, correct.
Okay? Now, I'm in real estate, and it's not a plug for the show, but it's a question because you are in a prime spot down the ocean front. You have a hotel there, a parking garage hotel here, and then you literally can see the ocean. When this prime piece of real estate came available, did you have to like fight tooth and nail to get it, or did you know somebody that knows somebody? Like, I want to know how you got this spot.
Yeah, funny story. So we had other locations on this ocean front, and you always kind of want to know what another location is going for, how much they're asking price per square foot. And it just so happened that the person who was leasing out this place was my former employer 16 years ago when I first started down here. 20 years ago when I first started down here. My first employer. So I wanted to humor myself, and I came in and just asked to see how much the property would be worth. So I set up a meeting, we walked through, and really we had no intention of taking this place. We had already secured another location for harvest. We had not signed it yet, but we had secured it, and we were their first option to take it. We started walking around in here, and I was talking with the landlord, our landlord now. And I happened to ask him, I was like, hey, Eddie, I've always wondered, because this used to be a Subway restaurant, I've always wondered what the angle in this roof over here was for.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, that was built so that you could have a stairwell. It's like, a stairwell? Why would there be a stairwell? He said, oh, well, the roof was engineered for a deck. Mm-hmm. So he said back when it was rebuilt, they engineered it for a deck, and there was supposed to be a miniature golf course on the roof. I said, really? And then that got my mind thinking, and I looked at my wife, and I knew she was thinking the same thing. And the real reason is because we want to grow on the roof. We wanted to grow on the roof. So food that's going to be down here, we wanted to grow on the roof.
So now we fast forward from the patio to you guys are in the process of building on the roof.
Correct.
So you're going to have rooftop access. You're going to be able to sit out there. And not only are you doing the rooftop, you've already told me some cool ideas. You guys are going to do like yoga sessions up there. So we could do yoga and then grab a mimosa, right?
Yeah.
And then you're going to have some local acts come and maybe do some poetry or some acoustic stuff. And
exactly.
that is going to set this whole place off at a whole different level.
Yeah, that's the goal. So
it's exciting, man.
Rooftop patio. I mean, who doesn't like a rooftop?
Right.
So we were fortunate enough that we didn't have to spend all the extra money on engineering the roof so that we could have this patio. It was done for us. We just stumbled upon it. So that's what really changed, our thought process to coming here. So
thanks for coming.
See you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's really nice.
One of the guests just said it's the best Cuban he's ever had, right? We didn't pay him to say that either. That was pro bono. Let's switch the scene up a little bit. You cool with that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Boom. All right, we're back, dude.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked a lot about the restaurant, and I love the restaurant. What are you doing, bro?
What you guys talking about?
I'm trying to have a conversation until you interrupted.
Shut up.
What is this?
You gotta try that.
What is
So
this?
those are our smashed potatoes.
Smashed potatoes. All right.
They're
Give it a
amazing.
shot.
Try it. I'll explain them. What we do is we oven roast them. We pull them out, let them cool down, then we smash them down, drop them in the fryer, crisp them up, and then put a little house
All right, so
seasoning
here's
on it.
here's my food critic in me right now. These are great. They're fluffy on the inside, crispy on the outside, with the right amount of salt and pepper. And then there's some special sauce on here. There's some seasoning on here that
Little house seasoning.
little house seasoning.
Yeah.
Dude, did I just kill that?
Oh yeah.
I just killed that, right?
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yep.
cool, man. Try the smashed potatoes. All right, so like I was saying, we got to know about the restaurant. So far, everything that I've tasted has been great. But tell me about Mike the man. Like, who is Mike?
Yeah. So I kind of I enjoy spending time with my family.
Yeah.
I really, obviously, when I'm not here, try and get as much family time as I can in. But I really have a passion for the community. So I try and do as much as I can in the community. I sit in a lot of boards and stuff like that, just nonprofits. I try and be involved. This restaurant specifically was made in a way to hopefully show other people what can be done.
Yeah.
Down at this ocean front, instead of the same old, souvenir shop, greasy spoon, pizza, ice cream.
Break the mold, right? And that's
Exactly.
even though, so when you're walking down the street, everything does kind of almost looks cookie cutter.
Yeah.
And then boom, there's harvest.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's different.
That was the goal.
That's different. And even if you don't even know what it is, you see the sign walking down, and you're like, let's just at least scope it out.
Right.
So
Yeah, no, that's the goal. I mean, we really want to tell you the truth. I mean, this corner right here, 18th and Atlantic, if you look at a lot of the press releases from the last 5 years and look at any negative thing that's happened, most everything was on the corner of 18th and Atlantic. So we took this not just because of the rooftop, but we wanted to clean it up. I mean, we've added so much lighting around here. This is the darkest strip between
So when you
Atlantic
say
and Pacific.
you want to get involved in the community. You want to change the community.
Yeah, for the better.
You have an idea of changing the community. And it's funny you say that because on the way here, Mark's like, this guy's going to be in office one day. Like, this guy's going to be the mayor of Virginia Beach one day. And I'm like, hey, dude, that's great. So when he is the mayor of Virginia Beach, I want you to remember this interview. And if you need any campaign managers or, you know, some good press release, I'll be your guy, man. I'll be your guy.
Yeah, who knows what the future holds, but
So that's awesome. So we talked here. We got this open up thing here. I'm dying to check out the roof, bro.
cool.
Is it able for us to get up there right now?
We can go up there. We can stand on it, run around, do whatever you want. It's
Is
not
there a lot of room for activities right
there's
now?
a lot of room for activities.
Mark, we got activities.
Let's go build some bunk beds.
Let's do it. Ready? Hey, let's do that snap thing again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, dude.
Yeah,
I love
here.
my magic fingers, bro. Isn't that great?
It's the best.
All right, so we're on the roof, and this is cool. So take a second, and nothing's done now, but it's in the process. Actually, so real quick, Monday, your contractors are coming in.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yeah.
And then you guys are going to shut down for about a month or so to kind of.
So it'll take 12 weeks for the roof to get done. Yeah.
Okay. And then you guys are going to open back up, hopefully right before spring,
Correct.
and we're going to get rolling. So lay it out for me.
Yeah, so we're standing on where we're going to be having, a deck right now. We'll be here. It'll be open air. You got the beautiful ocean view right there. You can see all the way to the end of the pier over there. If you follow me, I'll kind of give you a little quick.
Do it.
So right about here is where the structure is going to come out of the roof. It'll be a shed roof. It'll come up, and you'll come all the way over to here, where we'll have a doorway where you go into the rooftop patio here.
Nice.
On the left-hand side, there'll be a bar, and then the middle is just going to be kind of open. We're hoping to put a little stage in that corner so you can have, some acoustic music.
So what a cool backdrop, right? Like, can you imagine you're a local guy, Mike gives you a call, and you're like, hey, man, we want you to come out and play for us, right? And one of your first shows is you standing right here on the rooftop of Harvest, ocean in the background, nostalgic view, people having some drinks, the lights. Like, that's exciting, man.
Yeah, it'll be a blast.
That's exciting.
Definitely.
That is so cool. So this is awesome. I cannot wait. Mark, we're going to come back when the roof is done, and we're going to film. Hopefully it's going to be popping, and we can film somebody doing their thing over there, and we're going to do another show up here with your permission, of course.
That'd be great. I'd love that.
Some more smashed potatoes and sandwiches, and we're going to get it done, dude. Mike, thank you so much for having us out here, bro. I really appreciate it. I hope, and I know Mark hopes too, that your business flourishes. I wish you nothing but success.
Thank you.
And Virginia Beach, or anybody who watches this, anywhere, if you're in the area, hit up Harvest. Great sandwiches, cool owner, local stuff. Keep it local. All right, guys. Catch you on the tailgate.
I'm trying to get my family to a nicer place.